love lives here.
This is a sacred time in the life of our nearly 80-year-old community, as I mentioned, known as Riverside Center for Spiritual Living. Today, we officially welcome and install our 3 new practitioners to our practitioner corps. It is a joyful and powerful moment for a spiritual community to birth practitioners. It takes a great commitment and dedication to become a licensed spiritual practitioner. These dear ones have spent the better part of 3 to 4, some of you even more, years in classes studying our teachings and philosophy, learning how to put them into practice in their lives and how to support others to do the same. Becoming a licensed spiritual practitioner is not about having all of your issues handled, right? Okay. Yeah. It means having the consciousness of oneness and the depth of spiritual intelligence and wisdom to know how to use spiritual tools with a degree of mastery. These beloved ones have a relationship with spirit that nurtures and sustains them. They know the truth about their lives, themselves, and they know the truth about us. To a spiritual community, the blessings of licensed spiritual practitioners means that there is a cultivated body of conscious support, conscious spiritual support, which is adept at prayer and guidance. There has been a yes to the divine within the hearts of these practitioners and to be of service as revealers of truth. Becoming a licensed spiritual practitioner is a commitment in consciousness and in action. Practitioner Emeritus Allison Berry will now read What It Is to Be a Practitioner, written by our founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes. She'll be followed by Practitioner Emeritus Anita Nace and Practitioner Francis Drake, reading the Centers for Spiritual Living Declaration of Principles and the Global Vision, respectively. And band, if you'd like to have a seat, you're welcome to.
We'll take 2. What is a practitioner? By Ernest Holmes. The one who attempts to heal herself or another through a recognition of the creative power of the mind and the ever availability of good is a mental or spiritual practitioner. Such a one refuses to allow negative thoughts to control her consciousness. She endeavors to greet the divinity in everyone she meets. The one seeking to demonstrate the power of spiritual realization in everyday affairs should believe in divine guidance. She should affirm that her mind is continuously impressed with the images of right action and that everything in her life is guided by love, harmony, and peace. That everything she does prospers, and that the eternal energy back of all things animates everything she undertakes. Every objective evidence contrary to good should be resolutely denied, and in its place should come a sense of right action. The practitioner should feel a unity of spirit in all people and running through all events. The practitioner should declare that the spirit within is God, quickening into right action everything she touches, bringing the best out of her experiences and forever guiding and sustaining them. The greatest good which one's mind is able to conceive should be affirmed as part of everyday experience. No matter what the occupation of such a person, she should venture forth into a life of action with the will to do, the demonstration to be, and a joy in becoming. The professional mental and spiritual practitioner is one who has dedicated her life, her energies, her intelligence to helping others through mental and spiritual means and methods.
Declaration of Principles. We believe in God, the living Spirit Almighty, one indestructible, absolute, and self-existent cause. This one manifests itself in and through all creation, but is not absorbed by its creation. The manifest universe is the body of God. It is the logical and necessary outcome of the infinite self-knowingness of God. We believe in the individualization of the Spirit in us, and that all people are individualizations of the one Spirit. We believe in the eternality, the immortality, and the continuity of the individual soul, forever and ever expanding. We believe that heaven is within us and that we experience it to the degree that we become conscious of it. We believe the ultimate goal of life to be a complete emancipation from all discord of every nature, and that this goal is sure to be attained by all. We believe in the unity of all life, and that the highest God and the innermost God is one God. We believe that God is personal to all who feel this indwelling presence. We believe in the direct revelation of truth through our intuitive and spiritual nature, and that anyone may become a revealer of truth who lives in close contact with the indwelling God. We believe that the universal spirit, which is God, operates through a universal mind, which is the law of God, and that we are surrounded by this creative mind, which receives the direct impress of our thought and acts upon it. We believe in the healing of the sick and the control of conditions through the power of this mind. We believe in the eternal goodness, the eternal loving kindness, and the eternal givingness of life to all. We believe in our own soul, our own spirit, and our own destiny, for we understand that the life of all is God.
Global vision. We envision all people, all beings, and all life as expressions of God. We see a world in which each and every person lives in alignment with their highest spiritual principle, emphasizing unity with God and connection with each other. A world in which individually and collectively we are called to a higher state of consciousness and action. We envision humanity awakening to its spiritual magnificence and discovering the creative power of thought. A world where each and every person discovers their own personal power and ability to create an individual life that works within a world that works for everyone. We envision a world in which we live and grow as one global family that respects and honors the interconnectedness of all life. a world where this kinship with all life prospers and connects through the guidance of spiritual wisdom and experience. We envision a world where personal responsibility joins with social conscience in every area of the political, corporate, academic, and social sectors, providing sustainable structures to further the emerging global consciousness. We envision a world where each and every person has enough food, a home, and a sense of belonging, a world of peace and harmony, enfranchisement and justice. We envision a world in which resources are valued, cared for, and grown, and where there is generous and continuous sharing of these resources. We envision a worldwide culture in which forgiveness, in parentheses, whether for errors, injustices, or debts, is the norm. We envision a world which has renewed its emphasis on beauty, nature, and love through the resurgence of creativity, art, and aesthetics. We envision a world that works for everyone and for all of creation.
Thank you. I now ask our three new practitioners to please come forward to be presented for installation by Reverend Victoria Bomberry and Ministerial Intern Neil Hayner. If the three of you would please come forward.
Having completed the required certificated courses and the 2-year professional practitioner training of Centers for Spiritual Living, leading to the recognition of practitioners of religious science, and having duly made application, been tested, appeared before a panel of ministers and practitioners, and officially licensed as practitioners. These three incredible women, fully understanding the sacredness of the high calling of practitioners and understanding the responsibility placed upon them, have chosen to enter into the healing work of the center and to be an active part of this expanding community. Reverend Jeffrey, Core Council, Practitioner Core members, and friends of Riverside Center for Spiritual Living, I present to you Practitioner Amber Holland, Practitioner Chani Beeman, and Practitioner Dinah Williams for installation as licensed spiritual practitioners in service to Riverside Center for Spiritual Living, to the larger Riverside community, and to the world.
Recognizing the high consciousness, their commitment to their own continued divine unfoldment, and their dedication to serving this beloved community and beyond, we, the Practitioner Core, the Riverside Center for Spiritual Living, support their installation. We joyfully receive and welcome Amber, Shani, and Dinah into the Practitioner Core and into the ecclesiastical and healing arm of the center with all the rights, responsibilities, and privileges thereof.
So down through the ages, there have been those in whom the light of divine love has burned brightly. And as they have been willing to work in love and service for others, that light burns brightly here this morning in these special people who have answered the call to being a Center for Spiritual Living licensed practitioner. This is a high calling and a responsibility, and not to be entered into lightly, which brings us to this holy moment. Through the vows taken and the blessings bestowed upon these individuals, each one of them has volunteered to be a light of love in the world. and is committing to being a spiritual partner to the members and friends of this community. She is offering herself as a vessel for truth to be an avenue through which truth is revealed and wholeness is restored. We ask each practitioner to willingly and unreservedly dedicate themselves to the practice of affirmative prayer, known as spiritual mind treatment, the teaching of spiritual principles, loving service to others, and their own ever-deepening spiritual growth and understanding. So Amber, Shawnee, Dinah, please place your hands over your heart as a symbol of the sanctity with which you take these vows. You don't have to do just one, you can do both, it's okay. You're not pledging allegiance to the flag, it's okay. All right, so here we go. You ready? Actually, I'm going to come around here so all these beloveds can see your wonderful faces. Possibly, if I'm not in the way. All right. So, Amber, Shawnee, and Dinah, do you dedicate yourself to your own continually deepening spiritual practice that you may walk ever closer in the heart of the divine and see ever more clearly this spiritual truth, and that your life, to the best of your ability, is lived as a model for and conscious realization of love, law, and as the center of your being? If so, please say, I do. Nice and loud for the people in the back. All right, there we go, thank you. Right, it's willingly and unreservedly, I think is what it said. Yeah, okay. All right. Do you dedicate yourself to behold the divine perfection in all who call upon you, to the constant recognition of the one spirit within all peoples, regardless of their outer condition or circumstance, to be a place of healing and wholeness as you serve whomever may call upon you in time of need, to practicing the art of spiritual mind treatment and affirmative prayer? Do you dedicate yourself to serve willingly and lovingly as a spiritual coach, teacher, and guide, to participate in the expanding the ministry of Riverside Center for Spiritual Living in whichever way Spirit calls you? Do you dedicate yourself to your high calling and to the conduct of your office with dignity, integrity, moderation, and sincere commitment, to maintain absolute confidentiality, keeping inviolate the identity and confidences of those who come to you for help unless you receive their explicit consent to do otherwise, and to adhere to the code of conduct and ethics for professional practitioners? Do you dedicate yourself to upholding the Declaration of Principles, to the fulfillment of the global vision of a world that works for everyone and all of creation, to the purpose of awakening humanity to its spiritual magnificence, and to the mission of providing spiritual tools for personal and global transformation, and of course, to emboldening people to live their highest potential through the transformative power of love? Yeah, wonderful. Having spoken your vows, we now moved into two age-old traditions, consecrating your call through anointing and recognizing your commitment to your office by the bestowing of vestments. So practitioner emerituses or emeritus practitioners, that's you too, Francis, please join your new practitioners. Francis and Dinah, if you want to just switch. There we go. All right, perfect. All right. So practitioner emeriti, if you would please pick up the anointing oil for me. The cap is off, so. The oil we are using today is cedarwood and which promotes clarity of mind, peace in the heart, and spiritual grounding in both truth and form. Borrowing from the mystic Saint Teresa of Avila, spirit has no body on earth but yours, no hands but yours, no feet but yours. Your eyes are the ones through which you look out compassion to the world. Yours are the feet with which to go about doing good. Yours are the hands with which to bless all now. And so, practitioner emeritus, dab the oil and just lightly lay your finger on their third eye. May divine wisdom guide you. And moving to their heart space. May divine love radiate from within you. Moving to their throat chakra. May divine truth speak through you. And then anointing the palms of their hands. May divine order use you. You may replace the oil on the table. The stoles that we now confer upon you are symbols of commitment to the promises you have already made, devotion to a life of spiritual practice, and a reminder of the power of the infinite one is available to all. Allison, would you please present Amber with her stole? Anita, would you please present Shawnee with her stole? Francis, would you please present Dinah with her stole? I invite all of you to turn and face the community. Your stole is ivory, symbolizing truth, clarity, peace, and warmth. It is trimmed in and backed with gold, representing illumination, love, compassion, and courage. The brocade fabric is a reminder that your ministry, just like your life, is richly woven from the threads of many people, events, and understandings. And it is all of these many different experiences that make your life, as well as your practitioner ministry, strong and a beautiful tapestry of truth. The smooth quality of the satin backing reminds you that in rough spots in your ministry and in your life, you are to lean into the spiritual being and be aware of the smoothness beneath and ever present in all of life's changes and challenges. Our teaching symbol expresses the triune nature of the divine, which continually reveals itself in the heart of your lives, reminding you that spirit expresses in, through, and as all form, that all is sacred, all is divine. Every time you wear this stole, you are linked with all of the spiritual teachers of universal truth around the globe and across the centuries. The stole is a loving blessing to you and to all in your presence. Wear it with love and humility. Our practitioners emeritus will now present you with your official license and a copy of What is a Practitioner? Amber, Shawnee, and Dinah. By the power vested in me by Centers for Spiritual Living in Golden, Colorado, and this beloved community, I now install you in your ecclesiastical office as licensed spiritual practitioner at Riverside Center for Spiritual Living. This is an outer expression of an inner consecration which you have already made within your own heart. Through this consecration, you place yourself in a special relationship with the divine, all humankind, the members and friends of this community, and the ministry of Riverside Center for Spiritual Living. Yours is the privilege and responsibility of practicing spiritual mind treatment and the application of the law of mind to restore wholeness in mind, body, and spirit, and worldly affairs to whomsoever may call upon you. Reveal the truth to all who seek, so that they too may be free. Congratulations. And now, will all of our licensed spiritual practitioners please join these six beloveds up front? And as you do, please, everybody, take one rose out of the vase there. Practitioners, I invite you to look at your rose, and as you do, notice the beauty and perfection of the rose, thorns and all. No two are exactly alike. Each one is exquisitely unique. Each is a magnificent expression of the divine. What is true of this rose that you now hold in your hand is true of you as well. And as a rose bush blossoms and shares its inherent nature with the world, so too do you through your call to service. Practitioners, having heard the vows stated and restated, having committed to them at your own installation, do you rededicate yourselves to these vows, to this spiritual community, and to the global vision? Do you rededicate yourselves to deepen your spiritual practice, to court the divine presence more fully, and to continue to serve with compassion and integrity? I would like to take this opportunity to thank you for your dedicated service as professional licensed practitioners to this spiritual community, to acknowledge your commitment and your willingness to rededicate yourselves to a further deepening of your spiritual practice and service to Riverside Center for Spiritual Living. We are truly grateful for all that you give and bring to us, but most importantly, for who you are. I invite you to please turn and face the community. Go ahead and spread out. So, yeah. All right. There you are. Community. Practitioners serve this beloved community, but they are only half of the partnership. You, the members and friends of this community, being the other half. So I ask for your commitment as well. Do you promise to support these practitioners through your own prayers? Do you promise to allow these practitioners to support you in times of your own need? Wonderful. So I invite our three newly licensed practitioners who have just joined us to please come right straight here to the center, right by the table. And I invite all of our other practitioners to please stand and surround them. Surround them. You can come on the stage here too. You don't have to get behind them. You can make a big circle around them. Here we go. All right, perfect. And so one more blessing to be bestowed upon these beautiful beloveds, and it is in the form of a chamber prayer. I invite all in attendance to please raise your hands in blessing as well as our practitioners and ministers bless these beloveds with chamber prayer. Matt, thank you. And we may begin. So this year here at Centers for Spiritual Living, we are working with the theme of evolutionary vision, timeless wisdom, evolutionary vision. That's what it is. Timeless wisdom, evolutionary vision. That is the theme for 2021. And this month we are working with the theme of reaching higher. And today, our community has reached higher. Today, our community has stepped up. We have taken a high step into our next greatest yet to be by inducting these beautiful beloveds into our community, into our prac corps, into their high service. Each one has taken a step up. They have leveled up their spiritual practices. They have leveled up how they approach life. They have leveled up. They have taken a step up in the way that they walk in the world. And yes, it has been a long road. And everybody knows who's ever done it, knows it's been a long road. And all of you who have supported them through it, you definitely know how long and how challenging this has been. But it is a high calling. And what I know is that there is a high calling upon each one of us present here. The fact that we have taken form, the fact that we breathe, the fact that we are being breathed by the one life, the one spirit, the one love, the one presence, the one power that is all, through all, as all. The fact that you and I are here means that we have been called. We have been called to be a presence of love. We have been called to be a force for good in this world at this time. There is no other one like you. You're just like those roses, unique and individual. Each one of you is beautiful, magnificent, and glorious, just as you are, thorns and all, brown spots and all. Right? Each one of us is a divine, perfect, glorious manifestation, demonstration, expression of love, of life, of peace, of joy, of harmony. Each one of you, whether you are called to become a practitioner with Centers for Spiritual Living or not, whether you are called to be a member of this beloved community or not, you have been called to lift your eyes above the fray. You have been called this day to step up into a greater yet to be. And this beloved community, Riverside Center for Spiritual Living, it's there on the walls, and we say it always. We embolden, if you want to join me, we embolden people to live their highest potential through the transformative power of love. That is what we are about. We're about emboldening people to live their highest potential. We do that through the transformative power of love, because what we recognize is that there is a golden thread of truth, or there are many golden threads of truth through all of the world's great traditions, great faith traditions. And it is this golden thread of truth, of oneness, of love, that we teach and that we practice here at Centers for Spiritual Living, and that we specifically teach and practice here at Riverside Center for Spiritual Living. So this day, my beloveds, it doesn't have to be a big step. It can be a micro step. It's little, okay? But I invite you to take a step up. Take a step up into life. Take a step up into love, and go out and prosper and love one another. This is the charge to you this day. And so, as St. Teresa of Avila said, as we read earlier, yours are the hands, yours are the feet, yours are the eyes, you are the body of spirit on earth. And it is these hands, Q, it is these hands that do the mighty work of Spirit on earth.
Love